Welcome to the deep dive. So, you sent over this fascinating stack of material, really digging into sound, vibration, and, well, healing frequencies.
That's right. And it's not just, listening to nice music. It's much deeper than that. It's about ancient practices meeting, modern physics, how sound really affects us biologically.
Okay. So, our mission today, then, is to kind of distill all that, make sense of the science, the history, and how people are actually using this stuff.
Exactly. And the sources kick off with something pretty mind-bending, honestly. This idea that our own health, our vibrational state, is somehow linked to the cosmos itself.
Yeah, that hook was amazing. The bit about the human heart and the entire Milky Way galaxy pulsing within this narrow connected frequency range.
Right. It's not just poetic. It points towards this fundamental idea of resonance, a kind of unifying principle.
So when we talk about health in this context, we're really talking about resonance, harmony.
Precisely. Being in tune, you could say. So today, we'll unpack why different frequencies, hertz actually matter. From the Earth's own pulse to controversial ones like 528 hertz.
And how our bodies act like instruments themselves.
Yeah, how your body's basically a resonant chamber, and this measurable science called entrainment, which explains why certain sounds just feel so grounding, so right.
Okay, let's start way back. The ancient acoustic blueprint. Before structured language even, sound is maybe humanity's very first technology.
Think about it. Picture early humans huddled around a fire. The rhythmic chanting, the steady drumming, that wasn't just for fun.
It felt good, sure, but there was more to it.
Absolutely. They were instinctively using entrainment. That's the physics term for when separate rhythms naturally sync up. Their heartbeats would align, their breathing.
Wow. So it literally calmed the group down, reduced fear.
Yes, it dissolved that individual anxiety into a shared collective rhythm. It regulated the whole group's nervous system against, the dangers lurking in the dark. A survival tool, really.
So that steady beat wasn't just background noise, it was active neurological regulation. And this idea evolved, right? Became more sophisticated.
Definitely. Look at ancient Kemet Egypt. The sources mention priests chanting specific invocations. Not just prayers, but intentional acts to align life on Earth with cosmic cycles.
And those rattles they used.
Yeah.
The sistra.
Exactly. Complex little devices. They believed shaking them could dispel negative entities, basically using sound to restore balance, restore harmony. This is applied physics, in a way.
That's fascinating. And this wasn't just Egypt, was it?
No, it crops up everywhere. In ancient Greece, you have Pythagoras. He saw the whole universe as a giant musical instrument, a grand monochord, the planets making the kind of music of the spheres.
Right. And he used music therapeutically.
The legend says his students had to undergo catharsis, a sort of psychic cleansing, by listening to specific musical modes played on the lyre. He thought different modes had predictable effects.
Like what?
Well, maybe the Mixolydian scale for melancholy, or the Phrygian mode to get soldiers fired up for battle. They treated music almost like medicine.
That's a big step beyond just affecting mood. And in the East, India.
Foundational there, too. The Vedas talk about Nada Brahma sound as God. The idea that creation itself bursts from the primordial hum, the vibration, OM.
OM, okay.
And look at Indian raga. It's not just music, it's a precise science. Specific melodies and rhythms rasa designed for certain times of day or to evoke or even heal specific emotions.
So the common thread across all these ancient cultures is certain sounds have predictable physical effects on us.
Exactly. That's the key insight.
Okay, let's jump forward. From ancient wisdom to modern biology. How does science explain why these old drum beats or chants actually work? How does the body literally read vibration?
It comes down to basic physics, really. Conductivity. Our bodies are incredibly good conductors. Why? Because we're over 60% water.
And water carries sound well.
Exceptionally well. Plus, our bones act like solid waveguides. They transmit vibrations even faster and more efficiently than air.
So we're basically walking, talk, resonance chambers, highly efficient ones.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And down at the cellular level, everything's vibrating anyway. Tiny structures buzzing in the kilohertz to megahertz range. It's constant.
Okay. So what happens when we get sick?
Well, the sources suggest that illness can cause those cellular vibrations to wobble, to shift out of their optimal healthy frequency. They become less coherent.
Right. Yeah.
And external sound, like a targeted frequency from a tuning fork or even chanting, can act like a guide. It provides that steady, healthy frequency for the wobbling cells to lock onto, to remember their proper resonance.
Like nudging them back into tune.
Exactly. It's a reminder of their original harmonic state.
That makes intuitive sense. And this applies to the brain too, right? This idea of auditory driving.
Yes, absolutely. We talked about entrainment with heartbeats around the fire. The brain does the same thing. If you listen to a steady pulse, let's say 10 hertz, 10 beats per second,
Your brain waves start to follow that rhythm.
they're strongly encouraged to, yes.
Yeah.
You can actually measure this with an EEG. The brain activity starts to synchronize with the external sound stimulus.
And we have modern ways to induce this, like binaural beats.
Right. That's a fascinating application. You play two slightly different frequencies, one in each ear, say 200 hertz in the left and 190 hertz in the right.
Okay.
Your brain can't quite process two different inputs like that simultaneously, so it perceives a third illusory frequency, the difference between the two. In this case, 10 hertz.
So the brain creates the therapeutic frequency internally. That 10 hertz beat then guides the brain state.
Precisely. And that 10 hertz is right in the middle of the alpha brainwave state.
Alpha. That's the calm, focused state, like when you're relaxed but alert.
Exactly. Relaxed awareness, good for light focus. If you wanted to go deeper, maybe for meditation or boosting creativity, you'd aim for theta waves, which are slower, around 4 to 8 hertz. You'd use different binaural beat frequencies to create that target.
And faster frequencies for intense concentration, beta or gamma.
Potentially, yes. Higher beta or gamma states are associated with problem solving and high-level focus. The point is, the sound provides a kind of template, a map for your brainwaves to follow.
This is incredible. And the connection, the pathway for how sound affects our whole system so quickly.
Yeah.
That involves the vagus nerve, right?
Yes, the vagus nerve is crucial here. It's like this massive information highway connecting your brain to your heart, your lungs, your gut. Basically, your core bodily functions.
And sound stimulates it.
Gentle, harmonious sound, especially lower frequencies, stimulates it through resonance. When the vagus nerve picks up those calming vibrations, it sends an all-clear signal.
Oh.
And that signal literally tilts your autonomic nervous system away from the fight-or-flight mode, the sympathetic system, which causes stress.
And towards the rest and digest mode.
Exactly, towards the parasympathetic state. That shift is what brings you back into balance, into homeostasis. It's a direct, nonverbal route to calming the entire system.
It's like a biological shortcut to override chronic stress.
Okay, now that we've got the mechanisms, entrainment, resonance, the vagus nerve, let's get into those specific numbers people talk about. This is where it gets, well, pretty heated sometimes.
It definitely does. We have to start with 432 hertz. There's a whole movement around it.
Right. Because standard tuning for most music today is A440 hertz, isn't it?
It is. That standard was pretty much locked in around the mid-20th century for various practical reasons in broadcasting and manufacturing instruments.
And the 432 hertz folks argue against that standard. They say 432 is more natural.
That's the core claim. Proponents argue that 432 hertz aligns mathematically with things like planetary orbits, ancient geometric patterns, even some say the speed of light. They see it as the cosmic tuning.
And how does it supposedly feel different?
Anecdotally, listeners often report that music tuned to 432 hertz feels warmer, maybe rounder. They describe it as feeling deeper in the body compared to the 440 hertz tuning, which can sometimes sound brighter, maybe a little sharper.
Yeah.
So is it genuinely better mathematically, or does it just resonate differently with our bodies for some reason?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The debate continues. Is it physics or is it psychoacoustics and expectation? Probably a bit of both.
Okay, let's move to the really big one. 528 hertz, often called the miracle tone. This one's linked to that ancient solfeggio scale, right?
It is. And we have to be clear, the claims around 528 hertz get pretty big and, well, they're often highly debated in the scientific community.
What's the most out there claim?
Probably the idea put forward by biochemists like Dr. Lee Lorenzen that 528 hertz can somehow help structure water molecules within the body, potentially making it easier for DNA repair mechanisms to work.
Okay, wow. DNA repair, that sounds huge and controversial.
Extremely. That specific claim is definitely in the realm of experimental and, frankly, disputed science. There isn't broad consensus on that mechanism at all.
But are there any measurable effects, things we can verify?
Yes, and that's important. We need to balance anecdote with data. The sources mention a Japanese study, a proper clinical trial. They found that just 5 minutes of listening to 528 hertz significantly reduced cortisol levels.
Cortisol, the main stress hormone.
Exactly. It measurably improved mood markers and lowered anxiety in the test subjects. That's a tangible physiological effect.
So maybe it doesn't fix DNA in the way sometimes claimed, but we do have evidence it effectively dials down the body's stress response.
Precisely. And reducing chronic stress is, in itself, a powerful facilitator of healing, regardless of the exact mechanism.
That makes sense. We should probably touch on lower frequencies too, like 174 hertz. The sources linked that one more to pain relief.
Yes, 174 hertz often comes up in relation to physical grounding and pain management. There was a case study mentioned, a woman named Maria with chronic migraines.
Right, I remember that.
Apparently, targeted application of a 174 hertz tuning fork near the mastoid process, that bone behind the ear, led to a significant drop in her migraine frequency. Again, anecdotal, but points to specific applications.
Which brings us neatly to practical stuff. What does all this mean for you listening right now? How can you start using this?
Well, the most powerful and accessible healing instrument is the one you carry around with you all the time.
Your own voice.
Absolutely. The human voice is incredibly versatile. It can produce a vast range of frequencies, no equipment needed. And ancient systems knew this. Traditional Chinese medicine, for instance.
They mapped sounds to organs.
Yes, centuries ago. Using practices like toning, or what they call the 6 healing sounds, Lu Zijue, it connects specific sounds to the 5 elements and their corresponding organ systems.
And it's not about singing beautifully, right? It's about the vibration.
Exactly. It's about making specific, prolonged vowel or consonant sounds with intention, focusing the resonance in particular areas of the body.
Can you give an example? Say someone's feeling really stressed, maybe frustrated. What sound might help?
Okay, so frustration or irritability is often linked to the liver, which corresponds to the wood element in TCM. The recommended sound is a long, drawn-out sh.
Like telling someone to be quiet.
Sort of, but it's a softer, more whispery sound. You'd make it long and sustained, maybe visualizing the color green, and consciously releasing that tension with the sound. It's designed to disperse stagnant energy.
Dispersion. That makes sense. It sounds almost like a physical release valve.
It kind of is. Another one for the kidneys, linked to the water element and associated with fear or depleted energy, the sound is choo. Almost like the sound of wind or water being drawn up.
And you do that maybe while leaning forward.
Often, yes. The postures sometimes help direct the vibration. It's intended to address deeper, stored fear or fatigue.
Interesting. And beyond these specific tones, there's mantra like OM. How does that fit in vibrationally?
Mantras, especially bija or seed mantras like Lam, Vam, Ram, OM, they're considered precise sonic keys. Each syllable is designed to resonate with and activate a specific energy center or chakra in the body.
So OM isn't just one sound.
Traditionally, it's AUM, followed by silence or the resonance. The sustained low tones, the way the sound moves through the body. It's like vibrational code, syllabic DNA, as one source put it, signaling alignment and stillness.
Which brings us back to that core idea. The body responds to vibration directly, maybe more readily than to conscious thought.
That seems to be the case. You don't have to intellectually convince yourself to be calm. If you make a low, soothing, sustained tone, your vagus nerve will pick it up. Your heart rate will tend to slow down. Cortisol levels will likely drop.
Even if your analytical mind is going, this is weird.
Even then, the physiological response often bypasses the conscious critique. The body believes the vibration.
So we've journeyed from, ancient caves echoing with drums all the way to modern labs measuring brainwaves and hormones. It seems like every intentional hum, every sustained tone is literally a conversation with our own nervous system.
A conversation that can guide our physiology back towards balance, towards health.
And the real gift here, it seems, is neuroplasticity. The idea that we can actually use sound to help rewire our baseline stress levels, our reactivity.
Exactly. When you intentionally expose yourself to these harmonious vibrations, whether it's simple toning, listening to specific frequencies, or using binaural beats, you're not just passively listening. You become an active participant, part composer, part instrument in your own well-being.
Right. You're actively tuning yourself.
Precisely. And here's a final thought to leave you with, connecting the very large back to the very personal. We mentioned the Schumann resonance earlier.
The Earth's electromagnetic heartbeat, basically, around 7.83 hertz.
That's the fundamental frequency, yes. And we also noted that the alpha brainwave state, that relaxed yet aware state, is typically around 8 to 12 hertz, often centered right around 10 hertz.
They're not identical, 7.83 hertz and 10 hertz, but they're remarkably close.
Very close. So the provocative question is, did we evolve in sync with our planet's natural hum? Is that fundamental Earth frequency our baseline for deep rest? And is that slight difference, that little gap into 10 hertz alpha, perhaps what keeps us alert and engaged with the
Hmm.
world instead of just zoning out completely?
Wow. Are we naturally tuned to the earth, but with just enough difference to be active within it? That is definitely something to mull over, something to maybe explore further.
To get more details about healing sound waves frequency. For restoring balance and wellness, connect to universe vibrations. Click the below link to get the book. Subscribe us to get more content like this.